what's been kind of inspiring you to write at the moment, or what's been your kind of inspiration for your work? What's been the engine in your soul at the moment?
The engine in my soul. I'm not the only poet on stage. Honestly, I've had writer's block, to be honest.
Have you?
So I haven't been writing loads and loads and loads, but I am finding myself getting back into it. I think yesterday, International Women's Day, and it was the first time in a while I had gone and seen poets performing.
Yeah.
And I think I forgot how much that reminds me to pick up my pen and do the same. And I saw a poet perform yesterday. She's actually speaking at the end of this event as well, and she had this poem that just completely unlocked something in me that forced me to look at the woman around me and just remember what I love about them. So that I can feel myself going on a trajectory of just writing very personally about the individuals in my life. So I think what inspires me is the people around me's truth and their story. And I just had a birthday. And so a lot of the birthday cards were written by people that have known me for sometimes 10, 15, 20 plus years, 30 years at this point. And just hearing, or just being able to sit with them and remember the people that we were and the people that we now are, and getting to journey with one individual, I think that is really potent right now because I've just gone through a change of age. So I think being able to journey through life with people as well is inspiring me.
Yeah, my friend who's an artist often, whenever they send an invite for their birthday, they say, "Dear companion on this strange journey of life."
I love the drama.
And I've always just like, it's quite dramatic, and they are quite a dramatic person. But I like it. I like just because the strangeness of the world and life at the moment, and how you're able to kind of navigate that, what at times I think feels quite surreal. And when I find if you're writing or trying to create something, if you do it from an individualistic perspective, like what do I have to say, that can be quite a tricky place. But if you stay plugged into a community and see other people and can share that as a collective experience and tap into that, then that's when things kind of start to flow a bit.
Because you get to ask yourself, like, how are we feeling
as
well? I think sometimes, or I know for me anyway, I think you get information left, right and centre from everywhere. Sometimes I struggle to actually put my finger on, what am I believing in right now? What do I actually, am I just believing in a really well put together sentence and idea? Or in my heart of hearts, what am I actually triggered by? What does strike my empathy? What does force me to be compassionate? So how am I feeling? And I think sometimes the other day I had breakfast with two of my friends, and I had no idea they were so clued up on the news in general, because I kind of see them once the lights fade. And they're not my party friends, but I happen to only see them when we're out. And we did a breakfast. So it was like the first time in a while we had sat down and really just spoken about how everyone's thinking and feeling about what's going on. And they're people that come from similar places to me, and we live similar lives. And I think when they were speaking about how they're impacted by everything, I saw myself in that. So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And do you find there's a catharsis in what you write, and does that come from? I suppose, is that always from are all the emotions in there? How would you kind of describe that your work is? It's joyful, kind of. There's a lot of recurring motifs about a sense of space and about where you're writing from, and you're going to perform a song, My City. So I wonder if you could talk a bit about how the place that you're in geographically as well, in terms of community as well, how that informs your work and why you're choosing to give us that performance today.
Absolutely. I was in Puerto Rico for the Bad Bunny concert last year to see Benito, and I had a conversation with one of my friends that I was there with, and she is someone who's grown up on very, very old literature. And even now, like, if you ask her if she's reading anyone current, are you reading Sally Rooney, she'll be like, no, I'm reading like Oscar Wilde. She just loves old literature. And I think the beautiful thing about writers back when is they had the license to live in accordance to their craft. And I think when she told me that, and I was telling her I'm feeling quite jaded in London at the moment, or I just have such itchy feet, and I've had such itchy feet for the past decade, she was like, well, you're a poet. Historically, throughout time, poets are travelled people. They're people that pass through lands and collect stories in these different places we go. And poets were given as gifts to people during medieval times, poets were given as gifts to kings and queens from other lands to come and tell stories of those lands. And it's an oral gift. And I think when she said that, it liberated something in me. It was like, oh yeah, place should always play a massive part in my role as a poet and my contribution to like the art space as a poet. And it liberated something. It kind of made me feel, okay, I'm okay to have itchy feet because I come from a lineage. And when I say lineage, not necessarily a cultural lineage, but an artistic lineage of people that need to move around and travel. And I think one of the main reasons for that is you write about people's stories. You write about the people you meet. And I know it probably sounds so uninspiring right now, but I spent a lot of last year in America, and it was the first time in a while that I was so inspired by people's stories because their stories are so extreme there. I was in LA and New York, two places where people a lot of the time aren't really from, they travel into. So the stories are so potent, the stories are so extreme. It's stories of escape, it's stories of growth, it's stories of dream chasing. And I was so inspired by that. And then also, America is, people's personalities are almost entirely ideologically driven. And I think in the UK, even if that's the case, you would never know because we kind of keep a stiff upper lip, and you might you might sit with someone and be locked in a room for them for 4 hours. You might still not know anything they believe in truly, but you've spoken about the weather, you've spoken about the news. And I think that's quite, I think British identity is based on a lot of other things beyond ideology. I think it's culture, I think it's religion, I think it's, in America, I found that it was just so ideology driven before anything else. And that was just so fascinating to me because when I was in Miami is like predominantly Republican, and it was my first time really getting into a conversation with people that were from, both of their parents were immigrants, but they were strongly Republican, and I had just never seen that dichotomy before in a person. So America's just had me be really curious. It's made me very curious. It's become a poet of me in so many ways, and so I think place does that. I think place pulls out different versions of whatever's inspiring you at the time, and I think for me it's the different dichotomies that can exist in one individual, especially now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that as well, the role of the poet as both gathering stories, so bringing stories from outside in, but also reflecting a place that you're at back at itself. So you can see it you can see it as being strange again, so you can see it anew. Like, I love that role of the artist of taking something that's ordinary that we have as assumed and reflecting it back at people who have baked in assumptions to it, so you can start to conceptualize it or to see it as strange. I love that idea of being able to see things anew. And someone coming in from the outside, a poet or an artist, or even I suppose in Miami, like immigrant communities, that's a way of refracting identity that reflects it back at itself. And I love how that's such a great role of the artist, I think.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I hope so.
And are you tempted to go back to the States, or at the moment does it feel like, because obviously the flip side of that ideology is heat, is violence, is walking into a very dense and thick environment where art is kind of becoming politicized because it's thrown into such a rambunctious kind of contested space. It's performing in the States, does that feel safe? Does it feel like there's community there? And I suppose, how does that contrast to performing here?
That's such a good question. I think I've lived on both sides of the answer, yes and no. And I think about journalists or news reporters. They throw themselves into the mix of where they need to tell their story. So I guess I've been asking myself the question: is that what a poet's meant to do? Is a poet also meant to throw themselves into these current state of affairs that is what they're talking about at the moment? Are they meant to throw themselves into it, or are they meant to actually take a more political standpoint and refuse that? I don't necessarily have the answer, but I do think if my curiosity alone was the compass, I do feel really obliged to go back and keep having conversations. And when I had this conversation in Miami, it was on the beach, so it was everything was very like Florida. It was very Florida. We were on the beach and we're having this debate about immigrant communities versus being a Republican, what it's like in Miami, how those two dance together. And I wasn't triggered. I didn't necessarily agree with where they stood on a lot of things, but I wasn't triggered by anything. It really spiked a curiosity in me. So I think if my curiosity is my compass right now, it can only help me be more empathetic. It can only help me be more compassionate. Again, I didn't leave the conversation necessarily agreeing with everything they said, but I think being able to have a conversation with people that held such different values and ideas to me, it kind of removed the sting, because I understood how they got there.
Yeah.
Didn't agree, but understood how they got there. And I think maybe that's also the role of a poem, to kind of build a bridge between these two separate worlds, these two opposing views, and you don't need to agree, but maybe if you understand my why, it removes a sting, it removes a rage, it removes a hate.
Yeah, And I suppose you're seeing someone else's experience, and you're getting past the topography and the shouting and the noise and speaking to something deeper inside someone. And I often think that's the thing that could be so profound about art as opposed to politics or rhetoric. It's quite hard to measure how it changes people, but it can be quite a gentle unlocking that in the long term can have a kind of more profound effect. And sometimes when you see great art, you go, I actually don't know how I feel about that. But then years later or months later, it can kind of change something within you. And it's hard to measure that immediately, but the effect can be more enduring and like more profound, I suppose. Yeah. And so this song, My City, did you write it in London or did you write it in the States or did you write it?
We wrote it in, was it Hackney, I think?
Right, in Hackney.
Yeah.
Anyone from Hackney? Yeah, one person.
From the east.
That's a very that's how much Hackney's changed, isn't it? It used to be Hackney, and now it's like Hackney. But you wrote it in Hackney, cool.
I wrote it in London during a time where I was really, felt like I was being shaken out of everything that was comfortable, shaken out of my surroundings. Not necessarily sure where I was shaking to, but just knew that there was enough discomfort growing around me and nothing was making me uncomfortable. I wasn't in any kind of leaving a relationship or like leaving a job or anything like that. I just felt like the shape that I was did not fit the shape I was in anymore. So My City is a song that speaks to that. It speaks to this idea of I want to build a world of the things I believe in, and if I don't know where that place is, perhaps if I build a world of these things, the location will become quite obvious. So that's the premise of the song. It was written with Pat. It was written in Hackney.
Did you grow up in Hackney?
No, I grew up in Northwest London.
Okay, cool.
And we did everything to do with the song in London, but then I did go to New York shortly after, and I remember looking over kind of Williamsburg Bridge on the water, thinking, I think New York is the place for me right now, whilst listening to the song. So it's still kind of gospel to me in some ways. Okay,
Brilliant. Well, let's hear it. Yeah, beautiful people. Round of applause, wonderful Sophia Thakur and
Pat Cunningham.
And Pat. Make some noise for Pat as well.
Yeah, so this is Patrick Cunningham. Oh, cute baby. Baby's so cute. This is the song My City, and it's basically just, it's not necessarily a lesson, it's not trying to be a lesson as such, but just if there is anyone who's kind of in that space where they're where they are because they have to be, but there's something about the shape of them and the corners of where they are that aren't necessarily fitting anymore. You feel like you're being pushed in a different direction or pulled out of something, whether it's a relationship, a job, friends, a city. That's where we wrote this song from. Would you like to come to my kingdom? I've been trying to understand my religion. I slow down on how I'm living. What will I do with what I'm given? The city tells you where I come from. We can search and pray, we can write away until the love that stays is risen. There's a hope for all my lost ones. I just hope one day I can wake up and say that I prayed for this home that has found me. Tell me how it feels when you arrived. In the prayer you were waiting on for time. On your knees asking God every night with the years you have left for him to make something right. That's the thing about diamonds. They take trying and grinding to shine. I can see that you're finally smiling. You're finally riding this tide that took time. I have to ask, did it feel like everything you dreamed of? Did you find your reason to keep on? What about the parts of you that weren't needed? Did you let go? Did you find your freedom, and how did it go? With your homies, were you still close? Did they notice when you were changing? Oh, tell me they were patient. Sometimes when it comes to place and movement, but you know you're ready to shift out of something, thank you, girl. You know you're ready to shift out of something. It really is the things that have always brought you comfort that can sometimes become anchors. And I'm learning about the emotional space that, the physical space, that emotions can take up in the body. And I'm realizing how important it is in essence of movement to let some things go. If you want to move as freely as you think you should and must, I ask all of us to ask ourselves, what am I holding on to so tightly right now? Not because I know I need it, but because I'm scared of letting go. This life is filled with facts that challenge how we feel. Who hasn't felt a love take over them? Till their skin is filled with something right, something real. Can still be so wrong. You see the facts when feelings fade. The game for how it's played, and it can make you go insane. Your heart and mind's at war. They see the world through different eyes, and I'd never seen that before. The mind warns us of the risk. It's silenced by desire. Bless the heart for all it's trying. Bless the romantics and the writers. Bless the lovers that found fighters, went from loving to just surviving. Bless the girl that spent the night in crying, then reminding her friends it will be alright. Being the strong one while she's still too hurt to take her own advice. With all the love that we've seen go, it's harder to have known than to have never loved at all. Oh, to have never loved at all. I wish we never met, wish you the best. I wish my ex was just a friend, but then we bent until we broke the horse's back. A heart attack to reattach us to the facts of time. Forever of the heart is just a chapter for the mind, so let things go, let it slide. It hurts, but you'll survive. Even the sun shatters, it still shines. My heart broke once, it's still mine to realign and redecide my truth. I redesign my breakups into breakthroughs, and the best thing I can tell you is, if holding on is heavy, imagine letting go. Anger is this weight, unforgiveness is a hold. Comparison is dangerous down someone else's road, but you become your own alchemist. Spin your own gold, blow your ashes into a phoenix. That power is yours to mold. Sure, pressure can make a princess cut, but I've seen pressure make princess cuts that shine when they decide to let it go. Focus on the light, you're here with us today. I hope you leave feeling inspired to let things go and let things be. And whilst everyone else does them, I'd like to find peace in doing me. Another thing that I've learned recently, but it's been happening since the beginning of time, seasons, April, May, June. London is like winter, 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 summer, winter, 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 April. But I think we're gonna have a really beautiful April. Been seeing the first few blooms, and it's blooming something inside me as well. If you want to learn about an artist, you look to their art. If you want to learn about a musician, you look to their music. If you wanted to learn about Adele, you would go and listen to 19 and 21, and you'd get a good understanding of how she's arrived at her last album. You'd see her journey. If you want to learn about the creator, oftentimes you would look to creation. And everything happens in seasons. There's not a thing with breath that doesn't have a season. Everything. And I think that isn't just a comment on nature or biology. Pardon me. I think that's a comment on everything we go through as well. Think about the person you were at the beginning of 2025 versus the person that sits here today. I hope there's some kind of shift. Whether it's forward or backwards, the chances are you're not the same person. And with everything happening in seasons, what I've learned is to give myself grace, especially when the world looks like what it looks like right now. Not Voltaire. Who wrote the line "The Witch in the Wardrobe" again? C.S. Lewis. Yeah, C.S. Lewis. Oh, this is a good crowd. Okay. C.S. Lewis has a quote, and he says that it would be dangerous to constantly expose yourself to the perils of the entire universe, ignoring the problems that exist on your doorstep. And what he meant by that is if you expose yourself to everything that's happening in the world 24/7, if from the moment you wake up, you go from BBC News to Al Jazeera to Fox News, I'm sure no one watches Fox News, but if you were to jump from station to station to station, you're going to get to a point where the most you can give is thoughts and prayers, where the most you can give is, I wish everyone the best, because it's overwhelming. How do you solve all of that? How do you in your body resolve everything? You can't. And I think if you're exposed to everything that's happening so far from you, you might just miss the homeless man on your doorstep. You might just miss the food bank that hasn't had any food in your area for a while. And I think what C.S. Lewis is saying in this quote is, when there is external chaos, what are you doing to protect your internal peace? When there is external chaos, what are you doing in your internal world to ensure that you are making the changes that you need to make and that you're reflective of the season that you're in? So again, if anyone, it's Sunday, so I kind of feel like this is church a little bit on my end. It's okay, baby. Oh, that's the season of life I miss. You cry, someone carries you and feeds you. What a life, what a life. And it goes so fast. If anyone is in this season where they feel like it just hasn't changed as much as they wanted it to, or perhaps it's moving super quick, I pray grace for you. I pray peace. I pray organization. Tell me, do you still have that breath in your lungs and that rhythm on your heart? Do you still have that song on your tongue and that pen in your palm? Do you still have that mind in you, that grind in you, that climb in you? Well, let me tell you what time can do. Actually, let me tell you about just the roots, about the tree season of waiting before that first shoot, where nobody has seen the flower, nobody has acknowledged a tree. The foundations are set where nobody can see. First comes the seed, but then it grows within ground, where there is no crowd, no congratulations. The mightier the tree, the deeper the foundation and the roots have to be. We ask ourselves all of the time, why am I still waiting? Instead of, what am I rooting in? The people yet to root for you, they will come. But the greatest tree had to be unseen for a while for it to become the one. So do not give up. My love, stay looking up. Stay tough. If you need trust, then come to where we load up. In God, hands on your lungs. If they still move up, then so we must. If even the dust will rise into life, how much more us who are already alive? So I ask you again, tell me, do you still have that breath in your lungs? Then you still have life to spend it on. Despite how we spent the night, has the sun ever even once denied you a morning? Just as God has never missed us, he has promised to never skip us. And that is the one thing he can't do. He can't break his promise. If he said it, then it is trusting that the author of timing's timing can only be perfect. The wait can only be worth it, and I know. Sometimes it feels like the morning is crawling, like you're knocking on the doors of your calling and nobody cares or nobody is there. Maybe you're in this crowd feeling so alone in your fears. You're adding 1 + 1 and getting -2. You feel stuck in a relationship that is no good to you. You feel like you're running, going backwards, trying whilst retracting away from your bloom. But can I tell you how the spring works inside of you? How it's tension that makes the stem tear and the flower fly. How even the sun has to shatter for it to shine. Even our eyes have to split to take in the light. You have survived. You have survived, haven't you? Survived every day you thought you wouldn't. Survived every hard conversation you thought you couldn't. Survived every person who took from your person, every person who took from your peace. God lights our path and gives us knees to walk away and walk towards what we are called for. And if you feel like your cup of hope is running dry, you take your right hand, you put it on your chest left side, and you feel how even a heartbeat takes a pause. Even a heartbeat takes a pause for it to pump right. If you still have breath, then you still have time. Respect that you came with something great inside you, waiting to wake inside you. There is a light, there is a truth, and there is a way trying to find you. And if you forget, let me remind you to breathe. Remember, breathe. Remember, breathe. Cunningham. Thanks, Betty. Thank you. Please enjoy the rest of the afternoon.